And we are live. Hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Football Philosophy Podcast. My name is Abdi, and with me this evening is yours truly, Trey. Welcome to the show, bro. You right?
Always a pleasure, Abdi. Always a pleasure. Obviously, when it's the football philosophy, you've got to be speaking with Mr. Philosophy himself, which is obviously you, Abdi. So I appreciate you having me on the show today.
Now, always, bro. Obviously, we just watched the United game today. They won 1-0, so you must be pretty happy about that. But first,
Oh,
let's get stuck into that, man, because let's talk about the Chelsea West Ham game. That was just an incredible game. Obviously, West Ham winning 3-2 at the end of that game. Some incredibly strange goals from that game, but what did you make overall from it? Because looking at that first half, West Ham looked like they had no chance of winning that game. Forget about even getting a point. They just looked out of it. Chelsea looked so much in control, and then bang, out of nowhere, that unbelievable goal by Masayako. I don't know if he meant it or if it was a cross. What did you make of it?
you know what? Firstly, I just got to just say West Ham is a club that, look, I'm a Manchester United supporter, love the club. But as I'm from East London, of course, I've got a special love for West Ham as well, man. So just to see them perform at the new stadium, which a lot of people argue that because it's a new stadium, it's not the same as Upton Park in terms of creating the atmosphere, the energy. But through just watching the game live on TV, you can just feel that that 12th man helped West Ham, especially through those difficult periods, especially in the first half after Mount's goal. You saw
Yeah,
Rice's face. You thought, that's it, it's done. But you know, oh man, Bowen, man, he's obviously produced the goods. He's
yeah.
hungry, and
Aaron
then
Bowen. They call him
Aaron
Aaron Bowen.
Bowen, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
he's an incredible player, and I love the fact that he plays with passion. He's West Ham through and through, and every game he gives it his all. So that was a good result to see. And Maswaku, I'm not even going to lie to you. From a Congolese man, seeing another Congolese man, get
Yeah.
the winner like that, it's good. We all know it was a cross, but for me, it was the wind that took it
Yeah,
in my
yeah.
opinion.
I mean, watching that game, first of all, there was so many mistakes from Chelsea,
Yeah,
and it's like I don't know what's happening to them. They're losing a bit of momentum, focus. If you look at the United game, obviously Jorginho had that terrible mistake. Sancho went on to benefit from that, and then at the end of the United Chelsea game, Mendy ends up giving the ball to Fred, but Fred doesn't end up punishing him the same way that let's say Sancho punished Jorginho. But then you look at this game, Jorginho pass back. He doesn't even look where Bowen is. He just passes it back to Mendy. But you look at Mendy, he gets the ball, he doesn't clear it first. And then he gets another chance to clear it. He tries to take on the striker from West Ham, Bowen. And he's just thinking, like, you're a goalkeeper. Like, this is so unlike Mendy. He's been solid since he came in. And he tries to take on a player, passes the wrong time. It's like, and then obviously he ends up conceding the penalty, which obviously Lanzini emphatically, puts away. So that made it 1-1. And then obviously, yeah, it's just so uncharacteristic. The mistakes that we're seeing from Chelsea is it just like a dip of form, or is it like is there something else to this, or are they just waiting for players like Kante and Chilwell to come back, and obviously
uh,
Lukaku to be fit again?
you know what? There's a lot of factors when you look into it. Obviously, before the start of the season, we looked at Chelsea as a title contender, and they still are the favourites to win it. One of the teams anyway. And you look at the injuries that they've been able to have since then. Someone like Lukaku, for example, especially when he came on the pitch, I
Yeah,
noticed that um, they didn't really play to his strengths, which is he's the number nine, he's your target man, get the balls in the box. Because, Chelsea, whilst Lukaku's been injured, they've been able to create chances and score goals without a number nine like Lukaku. So when Lukaku does come in, they're in a bit of a crossroads. Do they carry on doing what they're doing, or do they adapt and play to Lukaku's strengths, which is getting the ball in the box and getting him involved? Because I felt that he wasn't involved enough, and they didn't really use him as a number 9 to really utilize attacking the West Ham defense, man. But I feel that something is missing. The injuries with Kante and obviously Chilwell do obviously play a major factor. And so it's just
Yeah.
about them trying to get momentum from grinding out results, which is going to be difficult. But West Ham, there was no way they were beating West Ham, especially yesterday. Yeah,
Yeah, that was an incredible performance, obviously from the likes of Antonio. I thought in the second half he made them work so hard.
yeah,
He took on 3 defenders on his own, whether it's Christensen, whether it is Rudiger. It doesn't matter who was at the back, even Thiago Silva. He will just go on and take them on. Antonio, for me, is an incredibly underrated player. And you know what? Yeah, it's a real shame that obviously England just completely overlooked him and ignored him. And obviously, for me, at the end of the day, he ended up choosing Jamaica. He's playing for them now, obviously, in the World Cup qualifiers. I hope it goes well for them.
yeah,
But
yeah. Big
they're
up
still there.
Jamaica, man. Obviously, yeah,
Yeah, man. Yeah, but Michael Antonio, obviously, he hasn't scored. I don't think he assisted. Oh yeah, he did assist the goal for Masuaku. With the head down. But yeah, Antonio, obviously, he just needs to bring goals back into his performances. But if you look at the way that West Ham use him, he's the front man. He's the target man. He
yeah.
brings players into the game. Lukaku isn't doing that. Is it just because he's not fit enough, or is it a fact that only Antonio Conte knows how to use him? I don't know. He
He
just doesn't look fit to me.
Yeah, one thing that we could sort of confirm is that he's just come back from injury, so he's not going to come back firing. That's a fact. And secondly, as well, I think Chelsea are still and Tuchel they're still figuring out how to make Lukaku into they're not making him into a target man. The team have to adapt to his strengths because for me, if you're going to bring Lukaku on, I'm gonna have fiery wingers uh, on the sides, and I'm getting balls in the box because he's gonna be a target man. I'm gonna pass the ball to him. He's gonna be holding up the play. Exactly what Antonio Conte, no, Mikel Antonio's doing. Like big up, man.
Yeah.
Sorry for that, man. But what Antonio's doing, Lukaku can do that. He can just with
Yeah, he can.
trust.
He can do it even to another level, like
Exactly,
higher level.
exactly. But it's just down to Chelsea figuring out how they can do it because at the moment they've been able to play in a way that allows them not to sort of have a target man. They don't need a target man, essentially.
Yeah, but if you look at Inter Milan when he was playing for them the last 2 seasons that he's been there, which is the main reason that Chelsea spent on 100 million on him. Actually, the damning thing on Lukaku for me is when um the damning thing is right now Inter Milan won yesterday 3-0 against Roma, and the director of football came out and he said we just sold Lukaku for 100 million, replaced him with a 36, 37-year-old Edin Dzeko, and it doesn't even feel like there's a difference. Obviously, for me there is a big difference,
A big
but
difference,
it
yeah.
looks like they're not missing him. Dzeko's doing very well. Obviously, the manager Inter Milan is doing really well, but when you look at Lukaku, he obviously had Lautaro Martinez playing with him.
Yeah.
Who is that Lautaro Martinez in this Chelsea team right now? Is it Ziyech? Is it Mount? Is it Havertz? Is it Werner? It doesn't look clear because there's too many bodies in the box. You look at who's behind him. He's got about 3, 4 players like just jamming up the positions for him. But for me, they just need to simplify things. Just make it
Yeah.
simple for Lukaku, and you're gonna get the best out of him. But obviously, this system is a system that's built on um, everything being perfect, precise. And if something doesn't go right, it all almost collapses. And obviously, it's a warning because right now, City are obviously at the top of the table, and when they go top of the table, they don't look back. They just don't let it go. So yeah, man, like there's no position for mistakes. This is gonna obviously go down the wire. But obviously, let's talk about another team that's in the title race, and that's Liverpool against Wolves. Um, 0-0 for majority of that game, and I was thinking like, you know what, this is actually going to be a decent point for Wolves.
Respectful one as well, yeah.
Yeah, it was going to be. And if it wasn't for them, losing the possession when it comes to final third, they actually could have tested Liverpool more. The likes of Arnold or Trent Robertson, they could have been tested, but I don't think there was enough, from Jimenez, from Traore. It just wasn't there. But at the end of the day, Origi, the super sub, comes on and he scores the winner. What did you make of that game?
Yeah, no, you got to give massive credit to Wolves, of course. They're going through a lot off the pitch, which is, you can imagine, is very challenging for the players, especially knowing that you have to somehow get a result from the potential title challengers, which is obviously Liverpool. You got to give Wolves all the credit. The strategy, I would say, the approach was pretty much spot on. With Liverpool, you have to go fire with them, and you have to match their energy, their intensity, and it's just unfortunate that they fell short at that last moment. But look, credit to Wolves. I think this sort of result will help them move forward, man.
Yeah. And what about that miss by Diego Jota? What what an incredible miss. I
I
was just thinking
think
like,
he just thought maybe he just couldn't score, man, against Wolves. It just the spirits just said
yeah.
no, he couldn't score against Wolves. No
All he
way.
had to do was just place you into either side of the
Yep,
defenders. But he
yep.
put it right where the defenders were. He
It's
smashed it.
crazy. It was mad. It was absolutely mad.
Yeah, so obviously Liverpool now 3 points, second in the table. Since Fabinho and Thiago have been starting together, they haven't lost a single game. Things are looking really good for them. Obviously, Jota, if Firmino is not scoring, Jota will score. If Jota is not scoring, Origi will come off the bench. And obviously, if they don't score, then Salah is always there. He's always going to score a goal or two, or assist one like he did the other day. When you look at their performances this season, you look at Chelsea, and then we're going to come to City, who just played Watford off the park. Who's your favorite to win the title now of these three? Like, we're going to be seeing so many changes. Like, we're going to be seeing one team go on top, another team go on top again. But yeah, what do you make of it all?
It's going to be an interesting title race, of course. I feel that it's still very earlier on, and like you said, there's going to be a lot of changes. There's going to be a lot of changes. There's going to be a point where City are going to have a dip in form. There's going to be a point where Liverpool are going to have a dip in form. There's going to be a point where, obviously, we're at that point now where Chelsea are in the dip in form. It's going to be a roller coaster. Right now, it's hard to judge because it's too early in the season. We know it's 38 games, not 15 games. So we need to see maybe by March, we'll see what exactly is going on so I can make a proper assessment of who will be winning the Premier League.
And out of, obviously, we played 15 games now. Bernardo Silva, what a player, man. What
Oh,
a player. Out of him and Salah, who's the best player in the Premier League right now, that on form?
you know what? Even though it burns me to say this, but you're gonna have to give it to Salah, man. He's
Yeah,
absolutely been on savage mode. Obviously, in the past previous games, he hasn't scored, but previous games before, you look at the some of the score lines that Liverpool have beaten teams. 4-0, 4-1. I've seen different results. Obviously, what they did to us was grueling, of course. But Salah ended up getting a hat trick against Manchester United. So for me, you would have to put Salah above. But Silva, he's one of those players that I know Monaco, they feel they're
yeah.
probably the most upset team. The amount of players that they had, which included Silva, Mbappe, Fabinho.
Yeah,
It,
man. What a
it,
team. The team that made, obviously, the Champions League semi-final in 2017, I think it was, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, obviously, this season, apart from Salah and Bernardo Silva, I don't think there's any other standout player of the season so far. Obviously, we've only played 15 games, and there's a lot of things that could change. But Bernardo Silva, man, what a player! And could you believe, this guy wanted to leave in the summer, and they were probably ready to let him go if they just brought in a striker. But imagine if he had left. What a
Where would
player, man.
where would you see him go? Like honestly, if let's say hypothetically he he that situation did happen and he was looking to leave, if you
If
was
I
his
had the money to
advisor,
buy him, yeah, no.
yeah,
If I had the money to, obviously, if I was to advise him, I would stay at City because this is the team
okay,
that made him. But obviously, if he's not getting chances like last season and he's not getting to play, then I would just tell him to go to anywhere that he's going to play football, especially his type of football. I would advise him to go to Real Madrid because I think right now Real are in need of that creative midfielder. Obviously Modric is getting older
yeah,
and they don't have anyone that good to play on the right. So he could play on the right, he could play in the middle, he could play on the left, he could play anywhere across that front line.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I would advise him to go to Real Madrid. But if I had the finances and I wanted to buy a creative player to help the likes of Mbappe, Neymar, I would just put Bernardo Silva in there. Instead of
ooh,
spending all that money on Messi, I'll put Bernardo Silva in there because he works so hard off the ball, and
yeah,
with the ball, he's so good, obviously.
okay.
And he's down to earth guy. There's no ego about him. And in a team full of egos, when you put Messi on there on top, what do you have? You're gonna get a dysfunctional system out of it. So I would probably advise the PSG owners to go and look at Bernardo Silva, but obviously I don't know if they're gonna do that now. Other options for him would be obviously Bayern Munich because I do feel like even though Leroy Sané is settling this season very well, I think they could do with him instead of Leroy Sané. But
Ooh, over Sane.
yeah, Bernardo Silva over Sané
I know,
all
I know,
day.
I know, I know. Bernardo Silva's quality, man. But I'm not gonna lie. I like Sane. There's something about him.
Mm.
I know right now we've not seen what he's been properly doing at City, but in terms of his technique, Sane,
Yeah.
can be extraordinary on his day.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I'm saying Bernardo Silva is because they've got Coleman and Gnabry. For me, they are two fast wingers. And
Yeah,
when you have two fast wingers like that, you need someone like Bernardo Silva to just balance you all out. Because
yeah,
right now, you look at Bayern, yeah, they're very good, but obviously at times they come unstuck or they don't know how to break down teams more, especially last season we've seen in the Champions League. Um, they need that kind of creative player. Obviously, Muller is getting older,
yeah.
with age, so he could be long-term replacement for Muller.
You're
So
right. You're right.
yeah, I mean, but right now, obviously, let's not even talk about that
I
because
know. I
he
know.
is
Yeah.
he is enjoying life in City. City are enjoying having him in their team, so I could see him staying in City for years and years to come. Um, but yeah, man, the other game obviously to talk about is Man United winning 1-0 under Ralf Ragnick's first game in charge,
Yeah,
and
man.
obviously
Definitely.
against Crystal Palace. Yeah, Trey, I'm gonna let you have the floor with this one because I'm sure you watched the game. What did you make of it?
You know what, man? Definitely, I just have to do this first, man. You know, yeah, yeah. Just
Yeah,
when you've been getting a lot of stick.
I can imagine. I can imagine. Yeah,
Yeah, you know what? That bands aside, man. Look, I'm just happy that Ralph is in. I genuinely saw Manchester United. They played like they had a plan. There was a strategy. There was a identity. I know it's just one game and it's Crystal Palace, but under Ollie, like Ollie done a great job to obviously assemble the squad and to get us to where he got us. But it felt like there was no plan. It was more freestyle football, relying on individuals. Whereas with Ralph, you just see that there is a system in place. Everyone's pressing together. Combination of passes. It looks more slicker. It looks very assured. Like it's very direct. It was the Manchester United way in terms of how we attack, but it was modernized, if that
yes,
makes sense. It was
yes,
very, very. strategically perfect
Yeah.
the way we were attacking, and it was good to see. Everyone looked amazing, in my opinion. Even though it was just 1-0, it felt like it could have easily been 3-4-0. It could have been that type of game, in my opinion. So I'm just generally happy with someone like Fred, for example. He's a player that gets a lot of stick in terms of his ability on the ball, but his work rate off the ball, his heart, his passion, his desire to wanting to improve. I'm just happy he obviously got his goal to celebrate his hard work.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you obviously try. You're bringing up a great, very important point here. You said it was direct football, it was front foot football, it was
Mm,
attacking football. That's the Man United DNA.
mm,
That is the United DNA. It's not just about square passes. It's not just sideway passes. It's not just having the ball and not knowing what to do with it. The United DNA is not having teams like Crystal Palace coming to Old Trafford and beating you 2 seasons in a row with
mm,
counter-attacking football. The United DNA is not seeing teams like Everton, Demarai Gray, Andres Townsend scoring that counter-attack goal that like they did against us
mm,
at Old
mm.
Trafford.
Yeah.
The United DNA is not seeing them get dismantled completely while trying to do some sort of a press against Liverpool, and then they just easily pick them off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in just 55 minutes. Done. That is not the
Mm,
United DNA. The
mm,
United DNA is pushing teams up high. That's
mm,
how big teams do. Rio Ferdinand and Nemanja Vidic and Alex Ferguson used to be way up high the field. They would
mm,
press teams up, and when you need
mm,
to defend, they would defend. But
mm.
seeing someone like Patrice Evra, who I respect a lot, coming out and saying, "Oh, this is not the United DNA. Who is Ralf Ragnick? This and this and that." These former players really annoy me. And then the other week we had Peter Schmeichel coming out saying Steve Bruce should get the job. It's Steve Bruce. Come on, man. There's a part of me that feels like these past United players just want the club to fail just so they can have their status preserved, that they
100%.
can't be matched. Honestly, that's why I think that I don't think their interest is is in their heart when they're talking about this. I think they've been, I don't know, I find it really hard to believe that you look at this team the way we play today and you cannot tell me that that's the United DNA. What do you mean by
It,
What is the United DNA? Is
it
winning
is.
trophies, is playing attacking football. It's
Yep.
not hiring Steve Bruce. Who is
Exactly.
Steve Bruce?
Yep.
And
No.
then you had, on top of that, you had Terry Sheringham coming out and saying, "Oh no, Michael Carrick should get the job, not Ralf Ragnick, because who is he? He hasn't managed Real Madrid. He hasn't managed Barcelona. Bruv, are you idiot? Seriously, do you even watch football to be saying these kind of things? What is wrong with these past football, these ex-United players? I don't understand it. How
It's
can they
because of
lose that?
their achievements. It's because of their achievements. It's like they feel they have their some sort of an entitlement to have these point of views, and because they've reached a pinnacle, which is very difficult for any teams like nowadays to achieve that sort of pinnacle. So they always feel that they have the right to say it. But I agree with you completely. I just feel that with what we see with Ralph, we can clearly see that he's exactly what we needed after Ferguson, in my opinion. He's exactly what he understands football, he understands cultures, he understands systems, he has his plans, he has a way of playing,
Yes,
which
yeah. You know what impressed me a
very
lot? Yeah,
important.
sorry to cut you off there. Yeah,
No, go ahead, man.
for
Go ahead.
me, obviously more important than anything else for me, just personally for me only, and even what I've seen on the pitch is the way the manager talks about the team. After the game finished, he came out and he said Fred and McTominay were almost perfect defensively, but he said where they could improve. He said what he didn't like about them, and he said it was one or two passes where they made mistakes. This is a guy who won his first game in charge, who's got 3 points. Everything should be obviously all rosy, all happy, but he's not. He's seeing the mistakes, and the next game they're going to be identified. he's gonna be dealing with it. That is that's,
But we
that's
need
Alex Ferguson in disguise, right there. That's what Alex Ferguson used to do. You
we
win
need
1-0 for United, yeah, he would be pissed because he would be like, no, we could have done this, we could have done that. And obviously, yeah, Fred is a player that you support a lot and you like him. Pastor Fred, top player. Danny saying from DLM Designs.
no
Yeah,
bless up,
Trey,
man.
go
Big
go
up.
for it.
Yeah, no, Fred, we got to big him up at the end of the day. He's someone that gets a lot of stick, like I mentioned to you, because of his technical ability. You think about the likes of obviously McTominay. You think about the likes of Van der Beek, Pogba. Technically, you would obviously put those players above a Fred, but Fred for me, his work rate, his passion for the game, and his willingness to be a team player is what makes managers play him. He
Mhm. Every
simply
manager
just
is playing him. Every
he
single
simply
manager.
just does the job. Like obviously you've got employees, for example, bro. Like you tell your employees, oh, this is this and this is that. You've got
Yeah,
some employees that you know they'll do it straight away, or you've got some that it takes a bit of. Fred's one of those guys. You tell him what to do, he's doing it straight away, and you gotta give the man credit. I think that goal was a good way to celebrate the hard work that he's put in.
he deserves that. He
He
deserves it.
deserves it completely because he does a lot off the ball. Like what people don't realize, he does a lot off the ball. Even his involvement for the Arsenal game, for example, he was involved in everything essentially.
Yeah.
He made a
Let's talk
mistake.
about let's talk
Yep.
about two other players that have really impressed not just me, but obviously from reading social media as well. A lot of the fans, and that's they are Alex Telles and Diego Dalot.
Oh man,
What
oh my gosh.
I can't believe it. I cannot believe that
I've been crying for it.
Diego Dalot came up against Zaha and wasn't even tested.
Yeah, yeah, man. He was hungry. It's that Portuguese grit, man. And
He
Tellez as
silenced him.
well
He kept him
is
quiet.
incredible. Tellez for me, I've been crying for Tellez to start for such a long time. Since the beginning of the season, I've wanted this guy to start. Reason being is I just feel that as good as Shaw is, Shawberto Carlos, he's a
Yeah,
tremendous player when he's on form. But since obviously the Euros final, I just feel that a lot of the England players, not just Shaw, but a lot of the England players are sort of still hungover from that final, so they haven't come back to the best of form. And I feel
yes,
that
yes.
having Tellez play over Shaw will bring that hunger back for Shaw to produce those performances that he produced at the end of sort of last season, if that sort of makes sense, man.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah,
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 obviously, for me, what I didn't like under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was when players don't get picked, he will pick them for, let's say, a League Cup game.
yep,
If they don't impress in that game, he would bench them. If they impress in that game, he will still bench them for the next game. And it's like players like Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire were making so many mistakes
mm,
positionally, with the ball, off the ball, and they will still get picked. And
yeah,
this manager, I don't think things are going to be like that. I think it's
yeah,
a clean slate. It's a fresh start for everybody. Let me see what you can do. Diego Dalot impressed me a lot, man, in this game, obviously in the
same,
Arsenal game as well.
yeah.
Everything he does was just forward thinking. How can
The
I get this ball to
crosses,
Rashford? Yeah.
oh,
Ronaldo as well. I mean, I couldn't believe that Ronaldo had 3 or 4 crosses from the right hand side. Alex Telles crossing the ball, Sancho crossing the ball, Bruno Fernandes,
let me
obviously.
tell you something just very quickly.
Yeah,
So let me just remind you. Do you know where Dalot's from, country wise?
yeah, Portugal.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
you know who his idol was growing up?
yeah,
Ronaldo. So
yeah,
the way he's playing right now is he's playing with hunger and excitement right now that he's playing with his idol, man. So I'm sure he studied his game and he knows that on that right hand side, I have to put in balls in the box. So my idol can header them like he's been doing it all those years, man. So Dalot going forward and even defensively, he had a sound game, man, and I was really impressed with his work rate, with his distribution, with his passing. I was completely happy, and this is the sort of competition I wanted Aaron Wan-Bissaka to have, so he can up his game, and Shaw
Yeah.
on the other end can up his game as well, and this is what creates a great squad through having healthy competitions, which is internal. This is great for us right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. Let's talk about some of the other results in the Premier League. Newcastle finally getting a win under the new manager. What did you make of it all? Because Eddie Howe looked so passionate, like, so
Yeah, he
obviously
loved
so
it.
much,
He wanted it.
so much relief at the end
Yeah,
of
he
that
wanted it.
game. Yeah, 1-0. Is this the start of a great escape for them?
Could be a good start. Yeah, because it's the whole momentum. At the end of the day, if they could sort of pick up points from now until sort of the January window, I'm sure Eddie Howe is going to get some budget to spend in that January window. I'm sure he knows which players to sort of bring in to, you know, make things a bit tighter, especially at the back, and maybe bring in some more players to spice up the squad. Because obviously he's
Who's
inherited.
worse than them? Yeah, obviously I'm sure they're gonna buy a lot of players, but right now looking at the table,
Mm,
Norwich City, Watford for me, they look out of it completely. Then the other teams in there are Newcastle, Burnley, Everton, hanging about there, in
yeah,
and
not
about.
really. Yeah.
But it's like unless Burnley
Why?
really get relegated, who else is going to get because three teams have to be relegated, and I could only see Norwich and Watford completely. For me, I can already see them being relegated.
Yeah.
But the other team that's going to go with them is it Newcastle? Is it Burnley? Is it? It could it even be Everton if they don't
I
replace
can't
Rafa
believe. I
Benitez?
can't even believe if how Everton are right there, and you think about that result that we drew against them as well. Like it's
Yeah,
absolutely crazy. It's mad.
yeah, yeah. So it is gonna it's obviously it's gonna go down the wire to this
Yeah.
season. Burnley, if they don't improve, if they don't show that they could do something different, I think they could really slip into that. I think they might be just sleepwalking into relegation here. They really
Possibly.
have to improve. I can see them improving. I'm not gonna lie, but Newcastle, man, yeah,
I'm
good luck
looking
to
at
them. That's all I have to
Newcastle's
say.
squad, man. For me, they're gonna act very quickly, and they're gonna get some players in the January window, and they're gonna spice things up. And Newcastle are definitely not going to be a team that's going to be relegated. The way it looks, possibly they'll swap places with Watford. And me personally, I could see Burnley, Watford, and Norwich being the teams that's being relegated. In my opinion,
Yeah, you think so?
it could be those three. Yeah, because I'm looking at the other teams that's in and around that
Yeah, it's
drop.
got to be one of Newcastle and Everton. No, one of Newcastle or Burnley, because I
I
don't
pro-
think Everton can you really see them being relegated?
no, Watford potentially though.
Yeah, yeah, Watford have to go. Norwich,
Yeah,
for me, they're gonna be going.
yeah. So Watford,
Oh man,
Norwich.
it's gonna be interesting.
It's
It
gonna be
is gonna be
crazy.
really
It's gonna
interesting,
be
man.
a mad great escape, and you can just tell that the team that survives is gonna be a manic celebration. That everyone's gonna go into the pitch. It's gonna be those. It's
Yeah,
gonna
it's
be
gonna be
those
one of
ones
those ones. Yeah,
because of the pandemic, the way it's affected a lot of clubs. This is gonna be a crazy one for a team to stay up, especially in this economy.
absolutely. Let's just wrap it up by looking into tomorrow's game, Monday Night Football. Mikel Arteta against Rafa Benitez. Is this the
Ooh.
game that Benitez gets sacked or Arteta gets sacked?
Arteta's gonna stay definitely.
Yeah.
I don't
If
think
what
they're
if he
gonna.
loses this game because the guy lost
No,
to Michael Arteta, Michael Carrick?
he's not gonna definitely.
Yeah.
The way I see things for Arsenal right now is if they finish anywhere above, I would say eighth,
Mm.
it's a good season for them, isn't it, man? At the end of the day, but they've obviously got aspirations to qualify for European
Yeah,
competition. So
top six
potentially
the target, innit? Yeah.
top six, I would say, is a realistic target, and I reckon the board will give him at least until the end of the season. I don't think a result, a loss to against Everton will affect their plans because they've they've overachieved right now. You're not seeing where they are in the table.
Oh
They've
yeah,
been
yeah.
able to pick up points. They were unbeaten in like 10 games before the Liverpool game, I believe, and
Yes,
then now they're sort of going for a dip, which is completely natural because it's the Premier League. It's not serious. It's not serious. It's not Lega, for example. No, Serie A is second in
yeah.
terms of quality of football,
But
but
this game
Lega
tomorrow, yeah, this game tomorrow is a big one for both
massive,
managers.
massive. I
Yeah,
reckon Everton they're gonna. It's a
they're gonna be
must
up
win.
for it, right? It's
It's a must win.
Goodison Park under the floodlights. The
It's a must
fans are
win.
gonna be on it. The fans are gonna
Yeah,
be ready for this game. You know they
yeah,
love to come up against Arsenal.
yeah.
So man, this is gonna be it's a must win for either of them. But I can see a draw. I can easily see 1-1,
It's potential.
0-0,
Yeah,
or even a 2-2.
yeah.
But whatever happens, it's a must win for either managers,
Must win.
especially for Rafa Benitez. You know, having lost 4-1 to your neighbors, to your derby team
Oh, ex
rivals like
team as
Liverpool.
well for Rafa Benitez.
Yes, yeah, losing like that was shambles, man. I felt really bad for them, man. It's a team. It's a team that's like just so disorganized from top to bottom. Obviously, that reminds me of United, but United are changing things now. And let's leave it there. Obviously, we got the midweek games in the Champions League. United already through. We're gonna be looking into all of that on Thursday evening. Yeah, I'm sure we're gonna have some other people joining us in that game in that show. Yeah, Troy, is there anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
Yeah, no, just keep up with the hard work. Obviously, love what we're doing at the Football Philosophy channel. We obviously have some great shows that's coming up as well. If you follow my socials, obviously it's going to be in the description. So just make sure you keep an eye on that. I normally do Throwback Thursdays, and I've got a special treat for um, for the football fans that's coming up on Thursday. We've got a
Perfect.
special show that we did together, me, Abdi, and Moose, and obviously Phantom Lombe. So I'm gonna obviously put clips of that. That's when it's coming out on Thursday. So stay tuned.
Perfect, perfect. I love that, man. Troy, thank you so much for joining me, bro. Really,
No
really
worries.
appreciate it. Obviously, you came
Cool,
out of
brother.
your boxing podcast, so you
Yeah,
took
yeah,
the
yeah,
time to
yeah.
join me on
No,
here today,
definitely,
man. Really
definitely. So,
appreciate
guys,
it.
just make sure you have a look at Touch Gloves Boxing. So, just type on YouTube, Touch Gloves Boxing, subscribe to the new channel, and all we do is just talk boxing. And we've obviously had some tremendous fights that's come up at the yard, Lions in the camp. He obviously
Yeah,
produced a result,
yeah,
and obviously Haney ended up getting a win. So we rounded that up in the show. So guys, check that out
perfect,
and follow the socials, of course.
perfect. Thank you so much, everyone. And until next time, see ya.
Blessings.